Hey, what's up? This is Mr. Butterlove, also known as RL, and you're tuned in to Hip Hop since 1987.
HipHopSince1987.com.
Hi, how are
Hey,
you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Now I'm a baby, but I remember, watching you on TV, you feel me? So I'm really excited. Like, how have you been navigating quarantine and making
to,
music?
to to be honest, I learned early on that you have to be self-reliant. You know what I'm saying? So I was always the young kid standing behind the engineer and the producers trying to learn everything, and I hate waiting on people. So I wanted to learn how to do it myself. If anything, quarantine made it so I didn't have to make up excuses for when people invited me places because I'm like a hermit. I don't really go a lot of places. So yeah, I always had, I guess because I grew up on an itinerary. So from a young adult, well, actually late teen, I had a schedule. You got to be here. You have to do this. So it kind of taught me to continue that. So I literally get up at 4:30 in the morning, work out. Yeah, so I've always tried to be on a schedule because I think that it makes it a lot easier to stay disciplined.
Mhm.
Um, Besides that, I think that I can see why couples either get closer or further apart because of quarantine, because it can be stressful having to be in front of each other all the time.
Because the norm is, we go do what we gotta do, make some money. I see you when I get home. So nobody's used to being in their face all day. Like you going out is just like, oh, I got some space naturally because you got responsibility, and then you go home. But then it's like, oh, now it's like, you feel me?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good and bad thing. I think you learn more about one another, and
Mhm.
hopefully you're in a situation where you're best friends and y'all can get on each other's nerves, but then y'all can bounce back. So yeah,
Right, definitely. And I know that you're about to drop a song. I'm
yeah, I'm about to drop a new single. Yeah, it's called Another Night. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
I definitely listen to it. I feel like it's a newer vibe, R&B still, but a little bit of pop. So we'll have
I wanted to give a groove. I mean, I remember growing up, even if I didn't understand what was going on, if a song it felt good, I would smile, or it turned like a switch within me to where I could just, you know, move, and I couldn't help it. And there's times that as artists we doubt ourselves. Like you listen to the radio or you see what's quote unquote hot right now, and you go, "Well, I'm not doing that. Like, am I whack because I'm not doing that?" And truthfully, you have to evolve, but you also have to be true to who you are. You know what I mean? And I'm always wanting to have a groove and feel good. So it's kind of something that you kind of fight because I've learned as a writer to be able to take these other ideas that I have that might not fit my image and slang it and throw it over here and give it to this artist. You know what I'm saying? So things like that have made it a lot easier so that I can still be creative yet still stay in my lane. Like, okay, we did the pull up joint. Me and my partner wrote and produced Pull Up for Lil Duval and Ty Dolla Sign. And now we have a joint that we wrote and produced for Jeezy and Demi Lovato coming out on Jeezy's new project. So I can go and do, different things that I probably would love to do for myself as an artist, but I know that maybe I need to just stay in my lane on certain things.
I understand. And everybody know you as RL. Like you was there near the lead singer of a popular group, you feel me? So, everybody want that RL. So I understand. And speaking of next, how has your transition been from leaving the group to now?
Well, it's funny because people will say, well, I'll say it like this. They'll say when it comes to urban artists, if somebody in a group goes and does something outside of the group, oh, he left the group. When it's pop, they just went and did a project.
Right.
For me, Next has always been and will be. They kicked me out of the group for a second, out of my own group, which is cool, but we learned from that. Truthfully, you should go get all the money you can, and you owe it to your fan base, if you can, to stick together, because a lot of times people come to these concerts and they want to see what they're accustomed to. You know what I mean? And when you can give them that, you should. There are certain times that you really can't do that. You know, you look at somebody like High Five, and you know, Tony Thompson, rest in peace, he's not here. You know, there's different groups like that. Just a bunch of groups where maybe there's an artist that's not there, or there's some crazy beef that you can't really get over. But yeah, next I think will be, you know, it might be just a touring mechanism. It might not, well, we have something new, but besides this new pet project I'm working on, which is the Next by Nature project, which is next to Naughty by Nature. Besides that, it'll be more of a touring mechanism.
Okay. Everybody loves reunion tours, like everybody. So they're pretty fun. And I know that you also recently dropped The Letter J EP. Mm-hmm. So how has the response been on that?
Well, it's funny because I was in a place, I can't say a dark place, but I was in a place of doubt. And my production partner, you know, he's in the studio with me all the time. He's like, man, we have these great records. You need to just put something out. He's like, you have hundreds of songs. Just give some songs away. People need to hear these records. And we decided on doing The Letter J, and the response was incredible. And it led to a label in Europe wanting to do a partnership with me. And that's how we came to doing the Another Night single. So it was like it opened up other doors. And I gave it away for free purposely because I looked at it like me taking you on a date for the first time and me showing up with flowers. This is my flowers. This is my gift to remind you, look, your boy R still here now.
Right.
So I want to impress you again. And I think that you can't have an ego in this game when it comes to your audience. So I felt like, okay, let me give you guys something to remind you that I still got a little something to offer.
Period. It don't ever go away. Talent is embedded. So I definitely
Thank you.
And because you just dropped The Letter J, I know prior to that you didn't drop too much, you know. So you said you're coming out with Next Naughty by Nature?
The Next by Nature project.
Next by Nature, okay. So you're coming out with Next by Nature, and what are your goals for that?
Well, to be honest, I'm at a point now where I could honestly probably just relax and live off the residuals of the stuff I've done in the past.
Right.
So I can do things because I love it. And I think that's the purest form. I wasn't planning on doing any new Next music, but KG, who, you know, discovered us he's from Naughty by Nature, hit me and said, we need to do this Next by Nature project. And I was like, you know what, whatever you say. You know, there's a level of respect that I have for him to where he was asking, but to me, he was telling. You know what I'm saying? He's big bro. And I had all these records laying around, and he would hit me because I'd be on my Instagram live or something. And all of a sudden I log off and he hit my phone like, what was that you was playing? I'm like, oh, this is this record I got from my project. He's like, no, we need that. And I'd be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you say, big bro. So it's coming along. We have probably 5 records done. It's fun. It's just making, you know, good music, that barbecue, skating rink, house party vibe. It's just anthems, and I'm enjoying it.
Too close. That's definitely the song I remember most of all, for sure. Like I said. But so I mean, back to this question, how would you, like you said, you do stuff now because you love to. So how would you describe the transition from being full-time artist, getting to it, got to be out here everywhere, you know, around everybody, to, oh, now I do it because I feel like it. So how does it feel?
Well, I still have that desire. I just have to channel it in other ways because I still think it's my time, but I think that I have to navigate differently because we're still, artists from my era are still trying to navigate how to get our new music to our core audience. So what happens is we have these sold out concerts, right? But they don't know about new songs, so they just want to hear the classics. They want to hear what they know, which is, you know, is understandable. But we don't really have a way to promote to them anymore because there aren't any record stores. And they're not on social media looking for new music from their artists. And we're trying to figure out that common denominator and that link to introduce them to the new things that we have. Because 112 had a great project this year. Jagged just dropped like a 30-song LP. I know Drew Hill. I know I just spoke to Carl Thomas a few weeks ago. All these great artists have all this great music, and they're dropping it, but it's on dead ears because no one even knows about it. Right. So we're just trying to find a way to connect with our audience again like we did before, because it's not the same way. Mm-hmm. So I still have that hunger. I still want to be an artist, but for me, luckily I have other outlets to get my art out. So I'll write for this person, or, you know, do this commercial, or write this jingle. So it's still frustrating, but I have to look at it as glass half full, because do I feel like I still have the talent and the records to compete with anyone? Of course, but right now might not be my time. That doesn't mean my time is up. That just means right now it might just be on pause.
Definitely. And I feel like us being locked down kind of is putting a halt on everything. Because if anything, like for sure, my aunties, they're going to come out to a tour. You feel me? They're going to come out to a tour show. So right. I feel like not being outside is definitely hindering a lot.
Yeah, but to be honest, in no way do I feel like the pandemic is a good thing, but I know that we are so resilient. We find the silver lining in everything. And for artists from my genre, where in my era, you know, most of the time people were at work or they had to deal with life, so they weren't on social media like that. Luckily, well, I can't say luckily, well, because of circumstances, they're at home more, and they might be working from home, but they on their phone, they on the gram, they on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, TikTok. So now a lot of my audience is rediscovering me because they are having to sit down. Mm-hmm. And it's making them yearn for live concerts. So when that button is pushed and the pandemic is over, tours is going. People ain't gonna want to be in the house at all every night. It ain't a concert Friday, or is there another concert Saturday? You know, so it's gonna be. So we'll find ways to navigate. So I will say that the benefit, if we can call it a benefit, of having our audience having to sit down, is that now they're surfing the internet. They're finding us. They're rediscovering us. You know what I'm saying?
Because everybody has the free time to just scroll, which is
exactly.
I definitely agree. Because engagement is different right now. So I definitely agree. And then my last big question is: you're the first person I've gotten to talk to from your era. I'm pretty much, you know, like the young rappers just going on right now. So I'm a little excited to break out of that. How has another transition question? When you first started out, you didn't have the ability to hop on a phone and post something out to millions of people, you know? So how has that change been for you?
I have to remind myself to post sometimes. Like I used to just post funny memes, or I'll post my daughter. You know, people around me will tell me you need to post more. You know, it's retraining myself, because, you know, we were taught, you know, my mom used to say, you act like you ain't used to nothing. You ain't got to show people what you got. They'll see it when they see it. Or don't let people see that money you got. People going to be asking for it. But now on social media, you're supposed to show, you know, everything you got. You know, you got to flex on them. And it's become, if I don't show that I have it, then I must not be doing well, which is the opposite of how we were taught. Right. But I will say, and I tell people this, I tell them, if there was social media out and camera phones like there are now, we'd be the most hated people in the world, and some of us would be in jail. Because, you know, there's somebody in some small town that has some crazy story that's true, that nobody believe them, because there is no footage, luckily. So I can say that I feel bad in some ways for these artists, because there's no mystique, and they're making mistakes, and they're emotional posting things that you can't get back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you're not just posting your wins, you're posting your losses, which no one is supposed to see. And then also it's a false sense of beauty and of possessions, because people are only posting their wins, really. You know, they filtering, they trying to show you the best possible, right? And it makes people ashamed of the losses, when truly you grow more from your losses than your wins. So
because if you don't lose, how can you win?
Yeah, but I like the fact that I can literally sit here and talk to you like this, and we can converse and it can be organic. Because on the phone, I could be just sitting here doing something else, like, yeah, and you don't know what I'm really doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Here, it's almost like you're here. So there are benefits, but I do feel like there's nothing like human interaction on a personal level, like you're together. But this is the next best thing. So it's a blessing and a curse. But I'm learning, and I think that a lot of artists from my era are learning to utilize them. A lot have done really well with it. And I think that we need to take lessons. There should be a young cat that comes out with some type of way to lessons on navigating, social media, because they could get paid. Because there's a lot of older cats that, and I feel like, for me, I'm 43. I don't think that's old, but I am seasoned. And you can teach an old dog new tricks. You know what I'm saying? We want to learn. We want to continue to evolve and grow. And social media is the way right now.
Right. And speaking of, how can we find you on social media?
Well, they can find me I'm JustRL on Twitter and on Instagram, and then JustRL.com is my site. But they can find me by watching this interview, right?
Exactly. Tune in.
That's your right.
JustRL as well?
Excuse me?
Is your YouTube channel JustRL as well?
Yes, it is. I believe so. I think so. It's funny because I was trying to get all my videos. They're on like Vivo or something. I was trying to get my videos back, and they're like, "You're not you." So the team has been working on that, because for me, YouTube used to be just a place that I would hear all my leaked music that was stolen back in the day. Like, people would have it all on there. So now it's used as another platform and a way to reach your audience. So that's just something new that I'm learning.
Right. And when can we expect another night?
Really in the next few weeks. We've just been going back and forth with distribution and everything. The cover is done. Everything is ready to go. It's mixed and mastered. I'm excited about it. It's just the beginning of a lot of music that I have coming. It's to the point where, my team has been like, you're sitting on all these records, get them out. Even if one person enjoys it, that's enough. And truthfully, I make music for me. I make music because it makes me feel good. And hopefully somebody's smiling listening to it, because I was smiling when I made it. And I think that's what music is all about.
Right. Energy is contagious. So like he said, expect in the next few weeks. You can follow him at JustRL, and you can tune into his EP called The Letter Day. And you can follow us at HipHopSince1987.
1987.
Yes. Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. Thank you.